For more, let's bring in the former Energy Secretary and former Texas Governor, Rick Perry. Governor, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. You know, when you were here, the U.S., the Trump administration talked an awful lot about American energy dominance. Do you think that that concept has changed from the first term to the second term?
I really don't. I mean, the president gets it that, baseload power and making sure that our grid has the reliable energy is what he's focused on. 20 years ago, when natural gas was $14 an MCF and we were looking for some alternatives, wind in particular was a interesting place to go. And all of the above energy strategy is a good thing. But particularly in the last 4 years under the Biden administration, there was just this massive focus upon the renewable side of things as the be all to end all, and we were going to go, net zero by 2050, and that's all just craziness. Here's the important part of what President Trump absolutely gets right. The data-driven AI world that's out there right now is going to be the most massive uptick of energy in the world, and we're not ready for it. And the idea that wind and solar could fill that bill is just a pipe dream. So the president understands that. All of these federal subsidies that have been given to wind and solar over the course of the Biden administration was, I will suggest to you, the president's pretty close to when he calls it a scam, that this was a use of our federal dollars that did not meet the needs of what we have in this country, and that's base load energy. Base load energy can only be found in fossil fuels and nuclear power. That's where you have to incentivize those industries. You get more of what you incentivize. That's just a simple fact. We've been for too long incentivizing wind and solar. Wind and solar are fine as a addition to, but they will never be that base load power that you have to have. This administration understands that. We're going to focus on, and a lot of states like Texas are giving incentives to peaker plants, for instance, which are combined cycle gas driven, and small modular nuclear reactors, which are really where we need to be focusing. And so both of those together will drive this AI-driven data center. We're building one of the largest data centers in the world it will be the largest in the world outside of Amarillo, Texas, Fermi America. And that project will require massive amounts of fossil fuel, natural gas, and nuclear power, which that part of the world's right next to Pantex, which is the nuclear facility, and the people of Amarillo and the Panhandle are big supporters of the jobs that will get created, the energy that will be there, and the national security that's going to come from America being this base load energy producer.
Yeah, you guys and your company has been investing, you're pushing nuclear power. Do you think you're getting the backing from the federal government when it comes to nuclear?
Well, Chris Wright and Governor Burgum, Secretary Burgum, they both have seen this project up in the Panhandle. They are very supportive of it. The members of Congress recognize that for America to lead this charge, to be the #1 place in the world where artificial intelligence data centers are going to be built, it is a race. This is the modern day Manhattan Project. America has to win it. The president understands it. Congress understands it. The cabinet members that are involved with energy production and the AI fight, the DOD, Pete Hegseth totally gets that we've got to win this race for America to be standing at the finish line, holding the championship trophy when this race is finished. It's a lot of work. We're going to have to invest a lot of focus and a lot of energy, but incentivizing those small modular reactors, incentivizing these AI-driven data centers, we'll win it. America can. Look, think about what we did back in 1942, 43 with the Manhattan Project, literally out in eastern Washington state. They built a facility to produce plutonium in 11 months. And had we not done that, who knows how World War II would have ended up. But American know-how, America can-do spirit, that's exactly what we've got at the White House right now. And I think you're going to be seeing America leading the charge and winning the race to deliver on these AI-driven data centers.
All right, Governor Rick Perry, thanks so much for joining us.
Good to be with you. God bless you.
Hey, it's Will Cain. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Cain podcast for full episodes right now.